To understand how Cincinnati put together the best season of any Group of 5 team in college football history, we have to talk about Luke Fickell. And to understand Luke Fickell, we need to go back in time.
Our next head football coach, Luke Fickell, and his family.
No, keep going back.
Thank you. I can't tell you how humbled and honored I am to stand here as the head coach of The Ohio State University.
Keep going back. Yep, right here. In 1996, Luke Fickell was wrapping up a very successful college career at Ohio State. He was an Ironman who started 50 straight games and finished his career with 212 total tackles, including 27 for loss. His talent drew the interest of NFL teams, and he was signed by the New Orleans Saints. However, he tore his ACL, and his professional career was practically over before it had even started. What could have been seen as a devastating injury has really served him as the needed nudge into the coaching world. After spending a couple of years with the Akron Zips, Luke Fickell was hired to be the special teams coordinator for his alma mater, Ohio State. And the Buckeyes won the national championship in his first season with the team. Just 2 seasons later, he became the linebackers coach and was also named a co-defensive coordinator. He thrived in this role, as the Buckeyes routinely had one of the best defenses in the country. He was clearly an excellent coach, being named the 2010 Assistant Coach of the Year, and he developed players like A.J. Hawk, Bobby Carpenter, and Marcus Freeman. He was also an elite recruiter, responsible for bringing the likes of Joshua Perry, Joey Bosa, and Raekwon McMillan, and many more to Columbus. When Jim Tressel ultimately resigned after violating NCAA rules, Fickell was named the interim coach. But things didn't really go to plan. The Buckeyes finished the season 6-7 after a loss to Florida in the Gator Bowl in what was their worst finish since 1988. To be fair, Fickell walked into a very difficult situation and was without quarterback Terrell Pryor, along with other key players that season. Urban Meyer, of course, took over the program the following year, and many people thought that was the end of Fickell's time at Ohio State. But Meyer asked Fickell to stay on the staff, and the Buckeyes won another national championship just 2 years later. Ohio State was on the mountaintop of college football, and in the national landscape, Cincinnati was becoming a bit of an afterthought. The undefeated 2009 regular season under Brian Kelly had started to seem like a distant memory after Tommy Tuberville resigned following a 4-8 finish in 2016, the program's worst season since 1999. Fickell's debut with Cincinnati got off to an inauspicious start. Like 2016, the Bearcats finished 4-8 again in 2017, although again, Fickell walked into a very difficult situation, inheriting one of the worst offenses in college football at the time. However, Fickell turned things around quickly and has just 8 losses in the last 5 seasons combined. Cincinnati went 11-2 in 2018, and Fickell guided the Bearcats to their first bowl game win since 2012. The Bearcats put together another 11-win season that ended in another bowl victory in 2019. Then came 2020, a tumultuous season as teams navigated playing college football in a pandemic. When the dust cleared, Cincinnati finished the season 9-0 with an American championship, but missed out on the playoff. They gave Georgia all they could handle in the Peach Bowl, losing by just 3 points. Despite the loss, many people speculated about the team's playoff chances for that upcoming season. And as you well know, Cincinnati ran the table again, finishing the season 13-0 and becoming the first Group of 5 team ever to reach the college football playoff. Alabama did eventually flex their muscle against the Bearcats, but even in the loss, it was clear that Cincinnati was extremely deserving of that playoff appearance. Prior to this season, it was announced that Cincinnati, with fellow conference members UCF and Houston, along with BYU, would be making the move to the Big 12 Conference. Fickell's turnaround of Cincinnati came at a crucial time in the ever-changing college football landscape. I don't think Cincinnati would have been as obvious a choice for the Big 12 if they would have kept playing 500 football like we saw under Tommy Tuberville. Yes, I know Cincinnati was formerly in the Big East, but so were Temple and South Florida and UConn, and all 3 of those programs have had some really tough years and were really never on the Big 12's radar. In many ways, I compare what Luke Fickell has done at Cincinnati to what Gary Patterson did at TCU. Patterson guided a program from the depths of college football in the basement of the Mountain West to the Big 12 and contending for the playoff. Luke Fickell is now the all-time winningest coach in Cincinnati program history, but why has he been so successful? Well, here's 3 reasons. Jim Tressel simply dominated the state of Ohio in recruiting in his tenure at Ohio State, thanks in part to Luke Fickell. Players like Maurice Clarett, Troy Smith, Ted Ginn Jr., Beanie Wells, Corey Lindsley, A.J. Hawk, and many more stars were from the Buckeye State. But when Urban Meyer arrived, he took a slightly different approach. J.T. Barrett was from Oklahoma, Dwayne Haskins was from New Jersey, J.K. Dobbins from Texas, the Bosa brothers from Florida, and Chase Young from Maryland. I think you get the idea. Ryan Day's recruiting methods align more closely with his predecessor Meyer. It's not like Ryan Day isn't recruiting the state of Ohio. I mean, the top 2 or 3 players in the state routinely go to Ohio State to play. But that more countrywide strategy has opened the door for Fickell to still get really, really good talent from Ohio. Last year's cornerback of the year, Coby Bryant, is an Ohio native. Evan Prater is from Cincinnati and is the highest rated recruit in program history. Jaheim Thomas also signed with the Bearcats in the 2020 recruiting class. Derek Shepard is a 4-star defensive lineman that chose Cincinnati over 4 Power 5 schools. 5 of the top 20 players in Ohio have committed to the Bearcats in the 2023 class, a class that is currently ranked inside the top 25 and would shatter the record for Cincinnati's best recruiting class in school history. Obviously, Fickell isn't just looking in his home state. You've got players like Desmond Ritter and Sauce Gardner who are from out of state, but there's plenty of opportunity for Fickell to do some damage in Ohio, a state that he's lived in his entire life. Fickell was a 3-time state wrestling champion in high school. He played in 50 straight football games in college and played in the 1997 Rose Bowl with a torn pectoral muscle. He's the ultimate competitor, and that fire has not gone away as a head coach. Even after back-to-back 4-8 seasons, Fickell doubled down, saying that he expected championships from his teams. And that's what he's delivered. The Bearcats are in pursuit of their 3rd straight conference championship, and honestly, I think they're going to compete really well in the Big 12, maybe for a Big 12 championship. They'll be right in the mix right away when they join that conference in 2023. He's instilled a great sense of toughness within this team, and now that his contract extends him through 2028, I expect the Bearcats to be very good for a very long time. And before I talk about the last reason that has made Luke Fickell so successful, if you've made it this far in the video, then consider hitting that subscribe button so you get more content like this. Thanks. Fickell worked very closely with both Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer and was a key piece in 2 separate national championship teams. He's been on record saying that his 1 year of being an interim coach at Ohio State was kind of the experience of 10 different seasons, and actually, believe it or not, has said that he did not enjoy that experience one bit. It's also worth noting that Tressel and Meyer were dominant against Ohio State's rival Michigan. Fickell has been dominant against the Bearcats' rivals, the Miami RedHawks, and has helped extend the Bearcats' victory bell win streak to 16 games. To learn more about Fickell's thought process on that UC-Miami rivalry, then I've got a good video for you here. We actually got to go behind the scenes of the Miami-Cincinnati game at the Cincinnati Bengals Stadium, and it was an awesome experience. We kind of documented it here, so check that video out for more. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and yeah, click here to subscribe for more. Thanks.